Okay, and we're starting a new module, Module 2. This is Lesson 1. Lesson 1 is very straightforward. We talk about what a positive number is and what a negative number is, and we put them on a number line. So you've seen negative numbers before, but now we're really going to get into how we add and subtract negative numbers and what it means. So here's a number line on the screen. It goes from -10 to +10, and in the middle there is 0. 0 is the starting point, and we discussed that it's not negative and it's not positive, it's just 0. It represents nothing. And negative numbers are used to talk about a deficit, maybe, like how much money you might owe, or the time before. We're talking about time, it would be like the time before that initial event. Positive numbers are counting up. Negative numbers are like counting down. So if you were to add a positive number, you would go to the right. And if you were to add a negative number on the number line, you would go to the left. Okay, and we can plot both of these on a number line. Another thing that's useful to talk about is our distance from 0. With the integer game, we win by being the closest to 0 as possible, and is either on the negative or positive side. How close you are to 0 is called the absolute value of a number. So if you have -5, the distance from 0 is 5. It's 5 away from 0. 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've moved 5 spaces to get to -5. So the absolute value we write like this, 2 bars around it, and that is equal to 5. It's 5 away from 0. It's just basically its distance. Okay, and when we begin to locate a number, we start at 0. We talk about how far away is 9 from 0. We are going to start at 0. And when we start adding and subtracting in later lessons, we're going to start at 0 when we start counting. Okay, and what we needed to, most importantly in this lesson, what was discussed, is that there are pairs of numbers that when you talk about the distance away, we can add them up and they'll give us 0. So for instance, -5 again, and 5. If I in the integer game had a 5 and a -5, this is 5 away from 0, and then this is also 5 away from 0. 0, 0. When we add a 5 and a -5, we will end up with 0. For instance, think of it like this. If I have $5, but I owe my mom $5, then I really have no money because I have to pay my mom back. Okay. So the integer game, just talk about that real quick. We'll refresh that because that's important. If you're playing the integer game and you get a card with a -7, a 6, and a -6, I can pair these two cards up and know that they are equal to 0 because a 6 and a -6 is equal to 0. If I count up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I count back 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'll end up back at 0. Their distances are equal. And if I add that to a -7, I will just get a -7. So that means I am 7 away from 0. Okay, what if I had a -7, a -4, a +3, and a +4? I could pick up the pairs that I have, -4 and 4, know that those are equal to 0, and then all I have to deal with is the -7 and the +3. So I start at -7 and I go up 3, and I'm going to end up with -4. That means I'm 4 away from 0. Okay, 2 more examples here. +7, -5, and -2, and a 0. So say I get those numbers in the integer game. The really neat thing is, if I pair these two together, they will be -7 because they're both negative, so they'll give us a -7. And then I can see that -7 and +7 give us 0. We have another 0. We may have won the integer game because we are directly on 0. So you compare numbers up when they are the same sign, and you can cancel them out by having the opposite signs, making them add up to 0. We're going to do some more things with the integer game. We're going to talk about what it means to add and subtract positive numbers coming up. Hopefully this is a good enough to get us started with the integer game, and we'll get some more practice with adding and subtracting integers as we go.